what's up and hello? This is the Chris Nicole bringing you my views on life, love, and the world of entertainment through my eyes. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, depending on what time you are watching this live. Hello, crew. Hope all is well. Make sure you hit the likety like button on the way in, hit the like, and hit the hype. And this is my review on the Braxtons, season 2, episode 5, The Queen and I. I normally, of course, do my reviews on Saturday, but now since Ready to Love is coming back on, your girl has to space this out a little bit more. So hopefully I can get the Braxtons done Fridays, and then we can have Ready to Love and the Bell Collective on Saturdays. But we will see. But let's start off with stating some facts here. Without Tamar, this show is nothing. Now, you may not like Tamar. I definitely have had my moments where I cannot stand Tamar. Do you know what I mean? But whether you feel she is dysfunctional, she has every right to be in her feelings, whatever you feel about her, she is the reason why this show can continue. And we definitely saw that this episode because without Tamar, they were still either talking about Tamar or it was very, very boring. So with that being said, let's go into the snooze fest of a bridal shower. I was calling it the witch fest, okay? It's a witch fest. It's a witch hunt as far as I see it. We are at this boring bridal shower that production clearly paid for the costumes, the location, and the food. Let me tell y'all something. Tawanda is extremely happy when it's production time because then at that point she has a budget. She can eat whatever she wants to eat on someone else's dime and she doesn't have to pay for it. Hence, every time she turns around, she wants food that she can't afford. When they were at that Eveline table, she was the first one. No one else ordered food, but she made sure she got her some oysters and a cocktail, something that she probably can't put on her credit card or on her debit card, okay? So with that, I know production had to put this together and it was tacky, all right? But with that, she's talking to her flunky, aka her friend who's willing to be her do girl, her yes girl. And she's like, these ladies really need to go to Ladies of Honor school. And her friend's like, absolutely, maybe we can do it tonight. I can take them to school tonight. Look, let me tell you something. At the end of the day, Tawanda, you are glad that they are there because your energy and the way that you carry on, like I said, I'm shocked if she even has friends, genuine friends. And the only friends that she do have are people who are probably willing to deal with her crap over and over again because they lack their own self-esteem. But with that being said, the delicate earthworm talking all of this mess about Trina, talking all this mess about her other ladies of honors not being there. Even her flunky friend is like, how about you just enjoy who is here? Enjoy yourself, all right? But then when Trina comes and the other ones come, Tawanda pretends like she wasn't just talking mess about them. Imagine that. You was just talking mess behind their back about how they need to go to school and how they're not there for you and how you're extremely disappointed, but now you're acting like you just didn't say any of that, you fake flunky fool. But anywho, with that being said, Tawanda is like, oh, you guys, look, I'm so proud of you. Like, I'm so proud, as if she was telling them she's so proud about the costumes that they actually had on. And I don't know, for me, you guys, it gave me like she was talking to them like they were her minions. Like she's like, "Oh, I'm so proud of you. Like, look, we can actually like dress and be in costumes." She to me was talking down to them, but I'm thinking like, "You idiot. If someone's going to come to your party, naturally they're going to dress up." I wouldn't be shocked if half of them were extras. I wouldn't be shocked. I would not be shocked in Atlanta, of all places, that they had people who said, if you have Bridgerton attire, please come to this location between this hours and this hour so it can look like she had a lot of people in attendance. Yeah, just something tells me they're extras. But with that being said, Sean, with his freaking Temu lace front, child, he come in there with the men And again, I was just like, why do we need to see this? This was most of the freaking episode. It was so boring. It was so boring. Then they have Tawanda wanting to do this toilet paper wedding dress game. Boring. Boring. Let me tell y'all something. Just a sidebar. With all of the drama that has been coming out about Tawanda and how she plays these fraud financial games allegedly and all of these things, and apparently allegedly stealing her mother's social security check, at this point, I wouldn't be shocked if Tawanda threw herself in front of that car to get some money. I wouldn't be shocked. I would not be shocked if she did that on purpose. I want to know what kind of car that lady was driving. If it was a nice car, I wouldn't be shocked, just so she could sit up there and have some money, maybe to go on her honeymoon, unless production paying for it. I put nothing past that scallywag at all whatsoever. Then, in my opinion, she buys herself a gift and has Sean present it to her at the bridal shower. It was so corny. He gave this so-called like little small trinket like gifts or whatever to the ladies, talking about it was a mini Birkin bag. That wasn't no freaking Birkin bag. It was cheap, it was tacky, it was ridiculous. Then he gives her this little bag and it has like perfume in it, some other stuff. It was so stupid and it was so boring and it was over. So with that being said, we can move on from that garbage. Now, we are here at Trina's so-called real estate office, all right? And Tawanda comes in with Mama E with a gift, courtesy of probably production, because again, I just don't see Tawanda coming out of her pocket for anything. And what was so crazy was Trina says, she looks at her mother and says, you came up in here with your arms wide open. And her mama was like, so I can give you a hug. And Trina said, and literally did not get up and give her mother a hug. I said, oh, okay, that was interesting. Even Mama E was like, I know she did not just play me like that. She sure did. She really did play you like that. But with that, I'm trying to figure out though, Tawanda, why can't you do real estate? Why can't Trina and Tawanda go into real estate together? Why can't you work, Tawanda? Like, for all the connections that you claim you have, especially with being in this industry for so long or around Tony for so long, why can't you go into real estate? Because you have no personality. You suck. Okay. And you are the type of person that you will suck the life out of people if anybody even got close to you. So I don't know. Tawanda, I don't know what she can do for a living, but I find it interesting that at least Trina is trying to make sure that she keeps something going on, something flowing, and Tawanda is making excuses as to why she can't work. Interesting. But with that being said, Tawanda actually says, look, Trina, you've been present, but you're not present. Like, what's going on? And she finally tells them about Vaughn and his congestive heart failure. Tawanda don't care. Like, come on now. Like, Tawanda don't care. She probably already, I wouldn't be shocked if production already had said something to Tawanda, but she was just playing stupid. Tawanda does not care. Make sure you guys hit the like on the way in. But with that being said, Tony is flying Tawanda and Trina out to Miami, okay, because she's trying to make up for the fact that she wasn't there at the bridal shower. And child, you know, Tawanda, in my personal opinion, Tawanda was acting all extra sad because at the end of the day, she wanted to milk it as much as she could to see what kind of gift or what kind of making up Tony was going to do. With that, Tamar is in rehearsal for her tour. Nothing really to see here, but I got a question for the hardcore Tamar fans that listen to me. How is her music? Like, I remember the Love and War album. I remember that. And I remember some of the songs on there, especially when she had her Vince and Tamar show. The problem is, I feel like Tamar can really, really sing. Like, one thing that even Tony said, Tamar is she is the best singer in that family. But however, does the producing and the music match her vocals? Because every time I see her live, I can't even really hear her. All I hear is the music. I can't even hear her sing. And I know she got pipes for days. Like, is it a perfect match? Like, there's just certain producers who just get your voice and get what you're trying to do. Like Quincy and Michael, Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis and Janet. Like, they just get it. Like, does Tamar have that as far as production is concerned? I feel like, and again, maybe I need to listen to some of her, current music, but I feel like she hasn't found that producer yet that can truly match her magic as far as her vocal ability. But that's just my opinion. Maybe I need to listen to some of her music, her new music. Y'all let me know what y'all think about that. But anywho, Tony's concert, okay? She is having her concert. I guess this was her first concert where she's like doing this like on her own by herself or whatever the case may be. And she's nervous about it. And Trina pretty much says, I'll do whatever you need me to do on that stage, because she's like, can you come on stage? She's like, I'll do whatever you need me to do. What's interesting though, baby, when Trina got on that stage, I hardly recognized that was Trina. I was like, dang, that is Trina. When you look at Trina from the Braxton days when the three girls was in their own singing group to now, Trina has gained a lot of weight. That girl used to be so skinny in the Braxtons back in the day that I was thinking, like, did she possibly have an eating disorder? Because I was like, this girl is like paper thin skinny. With that being said, though, Tony, did you tell her the same thing, that it's not cute to have her stomach hanging over her pants like you did Tracy? I'm curious if you did the same thing with her like you did with Tracy. Tracy, you were so missed. You were so missed. Oh, and I totally forgot. Rewind. Child, Trina's nasty behind had on no panties at that Bridgerton bridal shower. Literally. And for whatever reason, Tawanda wanted to take a peek at the peekaboo. I don't understand why. I can't even imagine. I cannot. And I know she was trying to make her laugh, but I'm like, you can't make her laugh any other way. And you talking about some, I have on no panties. Girl, like, while it was cute, because clearly it made Tawanda laugh, I was just like, you nasty. Like, why couldn't you wear any drawers? Like, what? Can you imagine? Child, Tawanda, I don't even know why you even wanted to look. I'm sure you got a whiff or something too, because that ain't no way in the world you're going to be able to tell me it was clean down there and doing that. And then after she peed, I can't. The girl literally sat up there, had on no panties, and decided to pee in the grass, talking about something. That's the Bridgerton way. That's what they used to do back in the day. Well, girl, it's 2025. I'm going to need for you to get it together. But with that being said, Trina comes on stage, sings, and then she does a tribute to Angie Stone. Tony does. And honestly, it made me a little sad at that moment too, because I still can't believe Angie is gone. Like, I still cannot process that. And then D'Angelo, like right after her, she passed March of this year, if I'm not mistaken. And then D'Angelo, like, what, a month ago? It's hard for me to process that, because to me, Angie just seemed like that artist, like she was going to be like a Gladys Knight or a Patti LaBelle, just, around forever, singing until she was like 70 or 80, but sing until she's 70 or 80 for good reasons, not because of the reasons we found out later on why she was still singing. But RIP to Angie and RIP to D'Angelo. But with that being said, Trina to me is like a lap dog. She just doesn't stand on her own, in my opinion. She's always living through her sister, especially as Tony. She's living through Tony, because when she was there saying, we are doing a tribute to our good friend Angie Stone. And I'm thinking, like, ma'am, did you really know Angie? Like, because you just give me the vibes that you're like a hanger owner of Tony. Like, you just hang on to Tony, and whatever Tony's connections are or friends of Tony, you feel like those are your friends because you've met them once or twice. Child, did Angie even really know you like that? Like, did you used to sing background for Angie? Like, help me understand. Or because they was cool with Tony, you cool with them too, and you want to say they your friends, like that industry nonsense. But with that, for whatever reason though, Tawanda wasn't there that night, because she said she was flying out both Tawanda and Trina. So why wasn't Tawanda at the concert that night? That's quite interesting. But we do see that demon on the yacht. Okay. And Tawanda, with all of her demonic witch energy, caused the wind to blow the way that it was blowing, that they couldn't even sail. Have you just ever noticed that anytime there's something being planned when it comes to Tawanda, it just ends in a disastrous way? Like Tony tried to have a yacht for you, which the yacht was really nice, but it was so freaking windy, they couldn't even sail. It's your negative energy. That's what it is, girl. It's your negative energy. So at that point, they're sitting up there eating, waiting for Tony. Tony gets there. Of course, Tony is always late. And so at that point, the captain comes on and he says, sorry, ladies, it's too windy. It would be dangerous to actually sail. So yeah, you guys are just gonna have to sit here. And Tony was like, oh man, I feel bad. Like this was supposed to be like, the special thing that I have for you. And Tawana was like, it's okay. It's the thought that counts. But we can go to Mr. Childs. Can we go to Mr. Childs? And I said, you freaking moocher, you cheap bastard, you freaking, oh my gosh, I just knew it. I was like, this girl is going to milk it because she can't go to Mr. Childs on her own. So Tony's going to pay for it because at this point, Tony is the only one she can go to. Tamar, you better keep that freaking wallet closed, okay? So I was just like, you know what? Y'all, if y'all don't see that Tawanda is truly just that freaking relative or that freaking friend that is always waiting for someone else to pull out their wallet, always acting like they don't have it. Oh, that is Tawanda. That is Tawanda. She is always, and if she's like this in her 50s, baby, she gonna forever be this way. Now, with that, another thing that I felt like was inappropriate, why did y'all need to have a conversation about Trina mowing her lawn with the pea situation? Like she talking about something, Tony, like, were you manicured? Because if you were manicured, then it trickled down your leg, but if not, then you was fine. We don't need to have these type of conversations. This just shows you right here, they really didn't have anything to discuss. Without Tamar, there's no show. Because I'm like, are we really talking about the pea situation again? And now asking her if she mows her lawn or not? Like come on. So then the three stepsisters, I call them the wicked stepsisters, they go to Mr. Child. And they literally have, you would think all of that food on that plate would be more for like maybe 5 or 6 people at that table. How much you want to bet Tawanda probably ordered most of that stuff? How much you want to bet? So they are there, and Tony, Tony, in my opinion, she likes to act completely oblivious on purpose. Tony was trying to play dumb, and I think, in my personal opinion, Tony is always going to try to resolve issues with Tamar, and not necessarily because she really wants Tamar in her life, because I truly believe when she said on Ayana that she loves her family, but she doesn't like them, and if they wasn't her family, they wouldn't be her friends. I think that goes for Tamar too. I think that she knows that Tamar, she has the means and the money now and the financials to help her take care of the family. She's not going to want to cross Tamar too much because Tony doesn't want to continue to fit the bill, like to actually pay for everything when it comes to the family. Tony was the one who was constantly providing for the family, and Tamar at a certain point was able to help, and she does not want to lose that help. That's what I think. I think it's more of a financial situation with Tony. Like at the end of the day, I have been living it up. I don't have to pay all of Mama E's bills because Tamar has been helping, or Tamar was helping with Tawanda, or helping with Trina, or helping with whomever. So I don't have to always do it. So I think that's the main thing, which is why she was trying to so-called have some resolve. Of course, they wanted to talk about the Tamar situation. And she's sitting up there saying, well, how did you guys feel about Tamar? And so Tony was like, so Tamar's not coming to your wedding? And Tawana's like, nope, nope, nope. I'm not willing to accept that behavior in my life. No. And I'm like, but you're willing to accept her money. You're willing to accept the car that she bought you. You're willing to accept whatever as long as she is willing to do for you. Because let's be clear, if someone is that toxic in your life, you are at a point where you want peace in your life. You won't care how much money they bring to the table. Peace means I would rather have you out of my life than to deal with you when it comes to money or anything else. But that is not the case with Tawanda. She claims she's been talking to her for years. Well, then, honey, what has made you stay around this whole entire time? What has made you stay around this whole entire time? The money and the fact that Tamar continues on with the show, and you need this show. You need this show. Trina needs this show. Tamar and Tony do not. So then at that point, Tawanda says it has been mental, it has been verbal, and now physical. And we have to remember that Tawanda was the one who exposed Tamar's SA situation on national television. Did she not? Wasn't she the one who brought it to Ayanna? It wasn't she the one who did that? Tamar didn't even bring her own trauma out there, but Tawanda did. That alone, that would have got you physically touched a long time ago. A long time ago. See, that's that type of calculated evil where your soul is black, it's straight up tar, that you are willing to expose anyone, but especially your sister SA situation when that is not your place. It is not your place. Hey, Tracy. Hey, Trina. Hey, Kashari, girl. Oh, my gosh. Miss y'all. I don't think I've seen y'all in a live in a minute. Make sure y'all hit the like button on the way in. But yeah, so the fact that she's saying that this has all happened and she hasn't done anything to warrant that type of behavior, you're full of it. And this is why I have an issue with all of them, because I feel like all of them don't take accountability. They're just so focused on playing the victim that none of them are willing to take accountability for what they've done. But then Tony is like, wait, I missed it. I missed it. What did she physically do to you? And Tawanda was like, she threw water on me. And I was like, she didn't throw the water on you. She hit the glass and the water went that way. But let's be clear. She probably was throwing the water on you, hoping you would melt, you witch. I'm melting. Yes, you should have auditioned for Wicked. That's what you should have auditioned for. Maybe that's the reason why. She wanted to make sure that it was you, or was it the demon inside of you, and she wanted you to melt. That's probably what it was. But at the end of the day, child, they try to say that all of this started was due to Ashley. The Ashley situation is what started this. And I'm like, no, that's what tipped it over. You guys have had issues for a very long time, and you guys have not been able to communicate what your issues are. Some people think that Tawanda has had a grudge on Tamar since she keeps blaming her for breaking up the Braxtons group back in the day. That she still has a vendetta over that. Girl, that was in the 90s. So this is what I'm talking about. Like, no, you guys have all had these issues, but Ashley was just the straw that broke the camel's back. So then at that point, Trina was like, Tamar says, I put hands on her first. I hit her first. Now, look, like I said before, she was just trying to separate them. So for me, I didn't look at it as a hit. But if I can be honest, and this is just not trying to defend Tamar, y'all know when you're on 10 and you're practically in blackout mode, anybody who touches you will possibly make you want to flip. Okay? Anybody who touches you, when you're that mad, when you're that mad, any touch, movement, or whatever may make you be like, don't you put your hands on me, because you're already ready to go anyways. All right. Meanwhile, Tony's like, I think we should have a conversation with Tamar. And I'm like, for what? Y'all are not genuine. And all you're going to do is keep saying it's her, and not anyone else when it's all of y'all, really. Y'all love to gaslight her. So what would be the point for y'all to sit up there and gaslight her so you cannot take accountability for all the crap that you've done? By the way, has Tamar ever confronted Tawanda about her putting her SA business out there on national television? When I tell you that is an evil, wicked woman, there is no way. There is no way. So, but at the end of the day, they're like, no, we've talked to her for years. We've talked to her for years. So they're like, no. We gonna have to see, honey. We clearly know that Tony and Tamar are still cool. I don't know where they stand with Tawanda and with Trina, where Tamar stands with them. I don't know how genuine Tony is. Apparently, Tony and Tamar used to be really close. And Tamar has always looked up to hit her big sister. But I think now this is more of a financial situation more than anything. Something tells me that Tony wouldn't really even deal with her family if it wasn't for the fact that her mother has always guilt tripped her whole life to take care of that whole entire family, take care of all of these grown people. All of these grown people. Now, you have every right to take care of your mama and your daddy. Now, interesting enough, I don't even know if she take care of her daddy, but she take care of that mama. And if y'all replay the first season when Daddy Braxton came finally down, because at first he wasn't trying to be on the screen, and he finally came down to that restaurant, and that's when Mama Evelyn was going off on him. He spoke a word at that table. He pretty much implied, your mother is mean. She thinks she know everything. And if you tell her she wrong, she flips, she got an attitude, and she control y'all, and y'all need to stop letting your mother control y'all lives. Baby, I saw that a couple of days ago, and I said, well, I mean, at the end of the day, you was wrong for cheating on her, because you don't get into no marriage to be playing them type of games. But at the same time, did he lie about what he said? I would say no. I would say he was telling the truth on that. But anywho, then we have Tamar and her friend / producer at an Italian restaurant with a Spanish name. Child, I was trying to figure that out too. I said, this is an Italian restaurant with a Mexican name? Okay. So they pretty much are talking, and her friend is trying to convince her that she really needs to figure it out when it comes to her family. Tamar says she hasn't been able to put the bottle down since the situation with her sisters, and I believe it. I believe it, because Tamar truly still cares, and she still really wants that relationship with her sisters. She does. You know what I mean? She does. But she says that, she's been self-medicating, and she said that everyone has pressured her when she steps away. Everyone pressures her to come back to her family, and she's like, for what? Like, because this is toxic. This is trauma. Here's my thing, Tamar. At a certain point, if you want the peace, you're gonna have to let go. And that means this show too. You're gonna have to. And if you continue to keep coming back, I'm gonna say that you like the pain. You must not be healed, because at a certain point it's like, why keep coming back to what is not making you feel good? When you have to self-medicate, and honestly, it makes me nervous, because she talking about she been hitting that bottle. A lot of those medications that you take for mental, I don't know if you're supposed to be drinking like that. Right or wrong, I don't know if that's something you're supposed to do. If it's getting to the point like that where you're popping pills and you're drinking, you're going to have to let it go. Like, you are going to have to let it go. And Tamar says, you can call me opinionated, you can call me loud, you can call me boisterous, or whatever the case may be. But she was just like, but I always have come back to help them. I've always come back. Now one thing I will say is she definitely said that she was in blackout mode and she was seeing red, but she felt like Trina was trying to get her lick in that moment. I don't think Trina was trying to get her lick in. I think she was trying to separate them, but she was really more so trying to protect Tony because Tony is her ATM. But with that being said, I just genuinely don't think that was the case, that she was trying to get her lick in. But again, she was already pissed off at them, so it is what it is. But Tamar starts crying when she says that she's always come back to help them. And I'm like, that's why you just need to stop. That's why you need to stop. They have to learn. They have to learn. You keep coming back to do these shows to help them because you don't need these shows anymore. They feel like they can talk to you and mistreat you and gaslight you any kind of way, and you're still going to cave and you're going to give in. Let it go. Step away, either forever or for years. And then at that point, they may realize how much of an asset you are to them. Because they know to a certain extent, they, for whatever reason, think that it's Tony. Tony may constantly pay their bills, but for this show where they're making money off of this show, I'm sorry, but a lot of people come to see Tamar for this show. Whether you coming to see Tamar to roll your eyes and call her everything but a child of God, or you're a fan of hers, she makes this show. She makes the show. But, you know, she's crying about that. She's like, I've always come back. I said, and that's the problem. That's the problem. See, sometimes you can't allow people to beat you up and then continue to be there for them, because then they think at that point there's no line in the sand. They can treat you any kind of way and you're always going to come back to save them. Don't save them. They don't want to be saved. Let Tony do all of it. And back away from Tony too. And financially just worry about you and your child. And that's one thing that the producer said, our friend said, you either going to worry about just you and your child and your mental health or whatever the case may be. But Tamar says she feels like it's too late. She said she feels like it's too late. And she said it doesn't have to be like this. And I'm like, it doesn't. But the problem is when none of you guys are willing to look into the mirror and you're just willing to blame everyone else except yourself, this is what's going to happen. And they get that from their parents. Mama E, she just threw it on the husband about cheating on her. She never, in my opinion, wanted to take into consideration what he was saying, that maybe she was just really hard to deal with and was a mean lady who thought she knew everything. I do really think that those children are scared of her. I do feel like, you know what I'm saying, like there's a lot of things that they refuse to say to their mother that has probably hurt them or damaged them or whatever the case may be, because she's real quick to tell them what the word says, even though she don't follow the word herself. Because I'm like, baby, the way you went off on that man, what word are you reading? But yeah, like I feel like Tamar has to understand that if she really wants healing, she's going to have to separate herself. And that may even mean Mama E. I don't think she's healthy in this situation either. I really don't. And you know, the sad part about it is, you guys, is that if Tracy was still here, I think if Tamar and Tracy sat down and really healed from each other's wounds and past situations and really had like their own private sessions and their individual sessions, I truly think Tracy would have been the one to have Tamar's back. Real talk. Like, because both of them felt neglected and the black sheep to a certain extent. You know what I mean? The only reason why Tamar got away with, you know, things more, I think because she was the baby, but also she was a part of the group. She was the singer. But I feel like Tracy and Tamar in their own way felt like black sheeps in the family. And usually black sheep stick together. So I feel like if they would have got over their issues, Tracy would have had Tamar's back and Tamar would have had Tracy's back. But now that Tracy is gone, like, I don't know, you guys, what do you guys think? Like, do you feel like they can ever get back on good terms? I just don't see it, especially with Tamar and Tawanda. I hope she don't ever talk to Tawanda again. Like, Tawanda is just an evil earthworm bird. She can't stand her, but wanted around 35 to 50K. Yeah, you can't stand her, but was willing to take that so-called gift to get that house, but claim it was a gift, but yet put it on her bankruptcy to the creditor, saying that she owes Tamar $50,000 and to charge that off in a bankruptcy. This woman is sneaky, conniving, trifling. And unfortunately, some people can be like that and still be very successful. But Tawanda has a dark cloud on her. No matter what she does, it is never successful. And interesting enough, she tried to say it was Tamar. Remember back in the day when she said, Tamar, no group that you've ever been in has been successful because of you. Well, Tamar went solo. She's been successful, and she's been successful in so many other things. What's going on with you, Tawanda? What's going on with you? Because you're evil. You're evil. But at the end of the day, the gaslighting and all of that stuff will have to stop. Yes, Tamar is loud. Yes, Tamar is emotional. But Tamar, in my opinion, has the biggest heart out of all of them. She does. She has the biggest heart out of all of them. That's why she reacts the way that she reacts. It doesn't make it right that she reacts that way. No, because a lot of times people will just tune you out because you're screaming at the top of your lungs. But at the same time, she just really wants acceptance. She wants acceptance so badly from her family. And I guess it can be hard. I don't have 4 sisters and a brother, like they come from a big family, and she's the baby. So I'm sure she has that type of, desire to want them to be together and to stick together. But how many years are you going to deal with this? Because at this point, I'm tired. I'm tired of this show. Like, I don't see the point of it coming back another season. And I hope Tamar decides to just throw in a towel and say, I'm good. I am good. Like, Tamar can have her own show. And I guarantee if Trina and Tawanda no longer have the Braxton show anymore, what are they going to do? Trina may be okay. Trina is married to a man who, I don't know what Vaughn does. I feel like someone said that he's also in real estate in some capacity. She has her YouTube channel. She has other stuff going on. Does Tawanda even have a YouTube channel? And if she does, don't put no link in my YouTube. I'll delete it because I ain't promoting that heifer at all. But one thing about Trina, I will say though, you guys, everything that's going on with her is showing up on her. Trina looks stressed. She looks like she has aged like literally 20 years in a matter of a couple of years. Now, I don't know if it's that Ashley situation, but when I tell you the stress and all of that stuff that's on, like, it's weighing on her. It is on her. I don't know if y'all notice it, but it's kind of making me concerned. And Vaughn's health scare may have also just been a health scare for her, because she said she has high blood pressure too. And as far as I see it, Trina, you definitely need to get yourself together. Like, one thing about it, Tamar said both of y'all need to get yourself together. Trina, she's wearing her stress very well right now. Because I think also because she truly, I think genuinely is a good person. She just doesn't know how to be her own person. But I think genuinely she can be a good person. But everything that's going on with her is weighing on her. And I'm not saying just her weight, but just literally how she looks in her face. She looks worn out. She looks tired. She really does. But with that being said, you guys, this was a very short episode. There really wasn't much going on. Honestly, it was only the Tamar scenes that really did it for me. Like, I'm tired of these sisters keep saying that Tamar is just the problem. She's only the problem. It is not the case. If anything, you guys all need to look into the mirror, and maybe y'all need to confront y'all mama and your daddy. Maybe being honest about them and how y'all grew up. Maybe that will help the situation, because you ain't gonna be able to convince me. There's some generational curses going on, and who knows, hell, it could be even before these sisters and that brother. We don't know what is in their bloodline when it comes to Mama E and when it comes to Daddy Braxton. We just don't know. We don't know. But I know one thing, problem is families like to cover this type of stuff up, and at this point, you can't cover it up anymore. Not the way this show has gone. You cannot cover it up anymore. I'm just hoping that they get the professional help they need without the cameras. That's what they really need. But with that being said, you guys, let's continue the conversation. What did you guys think about this episode? What did you think about Tony and Tawanda and Trina having that discussion, and Tamar? What did you guys think about it? Please let me know in the comment section. Please like, share, and subscribe. And I will see you on my next video. Toodles.